Hi everyone, welcome to HeyArchi Podcast. I'm Architect Shwati, your host for today. This is a special lunchtime podcast between 1 to 2 p.m. where we engage in an insightful roundtable discussion on architecture, construction, and its allied fields. Each day, we will discuss unique topics related to professions across country who are all the members of Alpha Club community, a business mentorship club for D-Hub for Architects, India's number 2 architectural community. This initiative is closely tied up with the upcoming platform HeyArchi, online portal designed for architects to create their own profiles, access job opportunities, internships, and curated knowledge resources. We also conduct the BIM Foundation program, India's most affordable and efficient online BIM training course, featuring a low student to member mentor ratio of 10 is to 1. Everyone here gets a personalized guidance. For more details, do check our website linked in the comments. Yeah. Okay, coming to the today's episode. It's all about the shift we are seeing in the architecture construction industry, right from the smarter tools like BIM AI to changing buyers' expectations and faster delivery methods. It is not just about what we build anymore, it's about building with the purpose, speed, and strategy. Let's talk about trends, demands, and what's coming next in architecture and construction industry. Hi, this is Architect Shwati, founder of The Real Story. It's a consultancy that helps residential real estate developers maximize their potential uh, through feasibility studies, marketing stories, and strategic project positioning. And to explore this shift, I'm joined by two amazing professionals who are actively building their ideas. We welcome architect SSR, founder of D-Hub, Spacemush, architectural firm designing small spaces, into AAC.A, founder of BCMC, who mentored hundreds of architects across India and guided firms to run smarter, leaner, and more tech-enabled practices. We also have Mr. Satish Kumar, founder of Corner Brick 9, a construction company with 8+ years of experience in delivering high-quality residential spaces. He's also the mind behind Concepts, a project focused on creating energy efficient, sustainable buildings in Chennai. Welcome and thanks for joining. Okay, let's move to the very obvious question and answer session. So there's been a thing like a lot of changes been happening in the way of architecture and in construction industry. The tech, the materials, people's mindset, everything is been shifting, and it feels like everything shifting and changing at once. But where are you in, and what's your journey? What's the one trend or a shift that you feel is actually making a difference on ground in your practices? Can I have Mr. Satish Kumar for your answers?
Hi, yes, that's a great warm welcome, Swati. And related to your question, the trends what which is going in the current construction industry. I shall explain what I practice right now, what I'm doing right now in the current trends. Say, for example, in the recent days or in the recent years, people are more cautious about what materials are being available in the market and they want to explore. So in need of that, what I have done myself is I started exploring what are all the materials which is there in the construction industry. Specific material called GFRP, which is called the glass fiber reinforced polymer, which is an alternate for steel. And what is the use case of it is when you use such kind of material instead of steel, your construction cost would drop somewhere around to 20 to 30 percentage. I was so curious when I was hearing about this material to my vendor when they done an initial pitch meet with me. So what I've done is I've taken this material personally, done a laboratory test, and I compared the test reports with the steel. It is far better than the steel. Still, it has pros and cons, but comparatively, it has lot of merits in it. So what I've done is I started implementing that in my construction projects, not in the entire project. In a pilot case, like it can be used for the lintel beams, the compound beams can be used in that case. Consider if a construction is being for 1,000 square feet, it would consume somewhere around 3 to 4 lakhs of the cost, construction cost for steel only. What if the 30 percentage cost drops by? You'll land somewhere around 1,20,000, which is a benefit for the contractor and as well as it is the benefit for the client. All this happens is just because exploring a new material in the industry. What if I stick to the old traditional material? It will be same, it will be remaining. The durability is what people experienced in the past years. It is same, the cost, everything is same. But introducing this small single material in one department, it has brought a drastic cost drop in the material and increase in durability also. This I find something unique and trend moving. So that is what my experience.
That's great to know, sir. Sir, SSR, what's your thought on it and how do you add upon to Mr. Satish's
Yeah. Hope I'm audible.
conversation? Yes, sir.
First of all, congrats, Swati. I think this is the first time you're going live.
Yes.
Started off great, and thanks, Satish, for joining. So, thanks for the wonderful introduction of all my ventures. I guess nobody has got all of them right. So, quickly, the trends in architecture and construction. Before saying what are the trends that I personally think that will be the talk for the next 3 years, 5 years, I would like to break a myth about certain technology that is being overly used. Swati, if you can mute yourself, the
Yeah.
ambient noise. One technology that has been in the news for the last 3-4 years, but is still finding itself in very slow in getting implemented is 3D printing technology. Okay, because you see that they say that IIT did this, IIM did this. There are research happening here. China did an entire building in 3D printing. So all those things are at a very macro level. For the time 3D printing has been surfacing in the news, by now we should actually have affordable housing or commercial buildings or infrastructure projects being done using 3D. I'm not saying they're not happening, but for the hype that this 3D printing has, I feel personally it has failed to live up to the expectations. There are practical difficulties in implementation. Of course, the cost is there, the adaptation to technology is there, and penetration into the market, right? So that is also not there. So by and large, 3D printing is solving a problem for the macro and wherever space is available in the large thing. But for a place like India, which is almost overly crowded urban cities, I think 3D printing is going to take a lot of time. So that's the myth I want to break first. And personally, one of my favorite trends that I want to follow are the technological usage of use of technology in architecture and construction. One for sure is moving towards BIM, building information modeling, and the other one will be IoT. IoT, and the third one is obviously AI. So from generative AI, we are moving into this phase of agentic AI or vertical AI, where AI can autonomously perform certain duties. To make it simple, if ChatGPT is generative AI, a result of a generative AI, where it's like a calculator. There are certain preset data loaded. It can surf the internet. It can give you answers like an expert if you prompt. Every prompt you give, it will answer, just like a calculator or a parrot, right? Whereas agentic AI is something that is, as the name suggests, it's an agent. So it has superpowers. It has been loaded with specific tools, knowledge base, the voice, and capabilities for doing each thing. Like you have agentic AI that does only marketing, agentic AI that does only web development or app development. Like there's a tool called lovable.ai. By prompting, you can create softwares. An architect can create softwares. I've done a lot of MVPs there as well. So this is the trend here, and in future there's something called concept AI, which will be the talk in the next 6 months or a year, where AI, apart from answering from the knowledge base or the LLMs that they have, it will be evolving new concepts just like how humans do. Like humans are good in evolving new concepts, right? So they will get those functions, and that will be a big impact in the future. So this is with regards to tech, and in construction industry, I think of late in the last 1 year, 1.5 year, precast construction, prefabricated materials, where things get assembled in a factory or in a closed environment. It is not done in situ. So it gets done, gets prepared somewhere else. They come to site and gets assembled. Like earlier, this used to happen only for the windows, right? Window is the best example of a pre-assembled product, right? For example, UPVC windows, they get assembled in the factory and they get shipped to the site. And on site, you just fix it wherever the structural opening of the window is. Now, imagine precast is like where you can have your wall panels, your columns, not necessarily PEB. PB is pre-engineered buildings, right? The steel buildings that we see, they are already always done, this method. But I'm talking about the normal concrete buildings, the small, the medium ones, or the large projects, the infra projects like highways and everything. They will be done in this way, and there is a reason for that, which I'll explain in the further discussion. Those two, I mean, precast will be the thing to look out for in the future. Precast, prefabricated, getting done somewhere, and only assembly will happen. So that improves efficiency, that saves a lot of time, and that also brings down the cost to an extent, not much, to an extent. So these are the two things that I'm very keen on. Apart from that, you always have these, biophilic design, green building, sustainability, and IoT. IoT is a thing that is not yet prevalent in India. Probably globally in countries like Japan or European countries, it is already there. All the buildings are there. So that is happening. And AI, particularly in real estate, AI is already there. Another tech trend that will boom up is the digital twins of buildings that we do. For example, our firm, we already have digital twins of all our projects. So we give virtual reality walkthroughs of our digital twins to our clients. So that is another trend that we should be watching out for. And obviously, VR is there, VR and AR. For selling products, you have AR. For giving a walkthrough experience, you always have VR. That is there. And AI in general will disrupt the design and construction industry to an extent. Okay. And always these things like vernacular designs, cost effective construction, affordable construction, they are not trends, they are timeless, right? There is always a market for them. Like things like vernacular, natural materials, cost effective construction, using the local community to, it's done. So these are timeless concepts that will always be in trend. So those are my answers for your first question, which I think I got it right? You wanted to know what are the.
Yes, sir.
So
You
I just
touched upon, yeah, you can add.
so I just want to add a point to what SSR has said regarding this prefabricated structures. These prefabricated structures still it is not been appreciated among this retail players like the local residential buildings, but it is more appreciated among the large commercial spaces like what as he has said. I remember the story when I went to my native Hosur. There is an empty place which was built in hardly 2.5 months. Somewhere around it comes by 30 to 35,000 square feet, I guess. That is one of the reputed top most reputed commercial space for textile industry because each and every day is get money for them.
You're talking about Chennai Silks, right? They have their own
Yes,
prefabricated
yes, yes.
factories and all their buildings they themselves do. They've
Yes,
been doing this for the last 4 5 years. Yeah.
yes. And the average walk-in for them is somewhere around 5,000 to 7,000 a day, I guess, if I'm not wrong. So each and every day is a what? It's a transaction for them, good transaction for them. So in their case, time is so constant. When you compare that to a residential house owner, it is not that impact. The impact is not that in case of time. So they go with the traditional construction and it is more appreciated among the commercial spaces. And all the bridges and as he said, everything is a jig and fixture component. So that even if some miserable things happen to any component in that construction, you can remove that particular part exactly and you can refix it. So that is one of the appreciated thing. And recently in this retail construction, people have started implementing the ready-made septic tank. It has already started coming into the markets, and people are also willing to go for that. I just want to add a point to that.
See, I think that is
That's
to explain on your point why residential people, the homeowners, they do not adapt to technology or anything new easily. For example, when MSAN came, there was so much restriction in the market, right? In Tamil Nadu, Chennai, particularly 2017, when we had this river sand scarcity, people were using MSAN. I think, if I'm not wrong, it was imported and all from Malaysia. People don't adapt to it. So there is a reason. Generally in the market, right? Because I do marketing, I study a lot about marketing. Any product or any technology or any tech product or any physical product that it comes, the market segment is divided into some five. It is a graph kind of thing, a snail-like graph. So first you will have the innovators who are highly curious. I can call myself one because even before something comes, I want to see what it is and I'm very curious. I want to try it out. So those bunch of people are very less. Okay. And I think next will be the early adopters. So they are not innovators, but they are people. If they see value, they can take calculated risk. So that chunk is around 30, 40. If I don't know the exact numbers, I might be wrong, but let us say this innovators are only 10 who try and use this thing, and they give reviews, and their word matters a lot. If they say this is going to be there, it will be there. If they say no, this is not going to be there, that's it. It never takes off. Then you will, after innovators, you will have early adopters. So early adopters are people who do conscious R&D, but they don't risk every time. So, for example, people like Chennai Silks, I'll put them into early adopters. So they are a business. They've already done R&D, and once this tech has been proved, they saw value in it for their business, and they did it on their own. Like how many places you will find a textile company having a prefab factory and doing it in large scale. So that is one thing. And then you will have the late adopters. Late adopters are who are stable businesses, right? They will do R&D, but they will want to be very, very conservative, very safe. And once these early adopters show positive result, then they will come. Now, this market is the largest one, 40 or 50%. So if you leave 40, 30, and another 10, so we are left with 10 or 20%. So these are called laggards. They will join because of FOMO, fear of missing out. So everybody is using, I will use it. Like for example, with regards to GPay, I was a laggard. I never installed GPay. I was forced to use GPay when we went demonetization happened, and during COVID, it became mandatory to use GPay. Otherwise, I was saying no, and I never had the app. I never had this GPay thing or UPI or anything. So now, when you compare this with residential people, we can't blame them because that's for them a once in a lifetime investment, right? They're going to build one house, and most of them take home loans. Their entire savings is going there. That's their dream home. So they will never take any risk. So they will go ahead. They are not even laggards. I will call them late adopters. Residential people are late adopters. They'll be want to save. Like this will happen when larger players they prove it right on a, let's say, affordable housing of large villas, small villas, right? A community kind of thing. When the larger players prove in affordable housing, then there will be slow players coming in. There will be market players, contractors, engineers, architects coming together and doing. And that's when this will happen. So that's why it is very important whenever things come. This innovators and the early adopters, they have to use it. They have to clearly call out the positives, negatives. And then this is the market cycle. So for any trend, this will work. Okay. Over to you, Swati. Thank you, Satish.
Yes, yes.
Thanks for your answers. You actually touched upon most of the industries, and thanks for your answers. And for me, on the real estate side of things, I've been noticing some very real shifts. It's not just in design or construction, it is about how the project is planned, packaged, or perceived. One big trend I see is buyers are getting more informed, more selective, and the way faster in their decisions. They are not just comparing projects; they are comparing their own use case scenarios, experience, the sense of identity of each project gives them. And another shift I've been noticing is tech is entering into the real estate process, not just on the construction tools like BIM or modular system, but also how developers use the buyer's data, digital camping, the big data, the virtual walkthroughs, and even AI generated conceptual visuals to sell their units more earlier and faster than they did that before. And honestly, I'm still learning how to balance all these. And in my company, The Real Story, we try to understand how we translate the tech-driven decisions into something a meaningful or a valuable aspects to the buyers, and how do you turn projects features into kind of an emotional hook, make them understand and take more knowledgeable decisions. So while I'm not only designing the structures or building it, I'm also in a space where the strategy, perception, and experience need to come together. And watching this, how fast all the things are changing right now, it's been both exciting and overwhelming for me at the same time. And honestly, with many trends being thrown around, it's very easy to get overwhelmed for everyone. But I've seen some firms already seem to step ahead. They are like not just following trends, they're already taking actions on it. So I'm just curious on how you both personally identify those trends earlier, and what's worth following it and what's just passing wave. How do you identify those trends, which is like how do you follow it, and is it based on your personal instinct, experience, or is it something else? How do you spot on those trends? Satish, so you can answer.
I shall share my personal experience. Okay, What I will do is initially, I will research on the events which is happening in Chennai and within India. This is done by this website called 10 time events, if I'm not wrong. This I do on every month end, on 29th on 30th, because I have to map for the next month. So I search here. There you can search for the specific keyword also, something like the
What is it, Satish? Can you repeat?
it
What
is
is it?
called the 10 time events. 10 events or 10 time events, something like that. I'm not sure about the blog name. So, this not only gives the events which is happening around construction, but also about every industry like finance, fashion, technology, everything. I personally use it for this construction. So, in this website, 70% of the events I majorly attend in Chennai, the trade center, few in Coimbatore, and if I find something worthwhile flying on the air, I travel to this Geo Convention Center because some new concrete technologies used to happen there. So in this majority of the cases, 70% of the events I used to attend in this trade center. I map the dates whichever the event occurs in my calendar, and I move. Sometimes if I find it is worthwhile, I'll take even my site engineers along with me. So I go, I hear about the products, the services, what people do in this construction industry. This is one thing. Second, about the execution, I'll be asking about how to implement this. Since it is a new to market, I'll be asking all these things, and I'll ask all my site engineers to hear about the application also, because end of the day, these are the guys who are going to stand in the field and they're going to execute it. So once we collect the information, I myself come to my office and I'll possibly check which company is using such kind of technology, because they are the early adapters, as what SSR has said. So I'll try to contact them. Few respond and say that okay, this is good, this has positives, this has negatives, something like that. And through LinkedIn also, I reach out to people, the industry expert people, and I say that there is this technology, have you ever used it, and I'll take the insights about the product or service. So if you used to say, after collecting this second stage of data, what I'll do is I'll procure the material in a limited quantity. I consider that it is a wastage for my project. Because if that works out, this is a big game changer for my projects, for me and as well as for my clients. So I spent a small chunk of money for that. I take that and I implement that. Sometimes if I find the laboratory test for such kind of new materials, I take the data and reports back up with me, so that I'll be fear free to implement these trends of new materials which is coming into the market. So this is the roadmap what I follow. Till now I do this only, and it works out. And out of that, the new material has born something like GFRP is by this way. Yes, over to you, Shwat.
Thank you. That's really nice to hear. Esther, what's your thoughts on it and how do you spot the trend?
Okay, I'm not as active a traveler like Satish. I'm a very lazy person, but I do constant R&D. Apart from this, is one suggestion that I would like to give everybody. You need to do R&D. You need to be curious of what is happening in your domain, your business, or elsewhere in the world, so that you know what to do when it hits you. So we are small players. Let us be very to spot a trend well ahead, because by the time they say this for stock market, by the time your taxi driver says the stock is good to buy, it's already overbought, right? The price has already gone up. So we have to spot the trend ahead of the time, ahead of the market, ahead of others, right? So that should be the goal. So for here, I would like to draw the parallel, like if you don't have light, like we don't have resources, we don't have time. We are like the moon, right? We don't have light of our own. So moon actually reflects the sun's light, if you understand the metaphor. So sun has its own source, energy, and it emits light, and moon can only reflect it. So we are like the moon. We don't have large resources, time, or anything to do. So to spot a trend, what is similar to a sun? So the first thing is any business you do, any business or any initiative we do, there's something called SWOT analysis, which is commonly known, right? SWOT, SWOT, SWOT. There's something called pestle analysis, political, economical, social. TEL has its own abbreviation. So if you're going to do something, the first thing is the political and the economical and social factors are important. I will always keep watching for the government policies. Like if the state assembly is passing a policy or a rule, or the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha is talking about something, or if the UNO is talking about something, if the International Monetary Fund is talking about something, it means that's the first trigger movement. Like when you play cricket, like the batsman has a trigger move, right? So that's the policy thing. So policy is being made, if you understand the global politics or national politics or state politics well, the policies are driven for the benefit of the people. I will not deny that, but also benefit of the corporates, the big guys. So those guys put the pressure and they make favorable policies. So when a policy is made, it has the backing of the bigger players. So the first thing is to watch out for these policies, whichever domain you are in. Like you need not be an architect or construction or anything. Even if you're in the medical field, you are in software field, you are in trade, you are in manufacturing, whatever it is, always look out for the policy decisions on not just your field, everything else. So this has to come by following certain blogs or journals or news channels and being awake, being steady. So I don't read news, but I follow certain social media pages in LinkedIn, Instagram. Those are my two sources. So when those news channels do something on the domains, then I'll go dive deeper and I use Perplexity to learn more about it. So that's first, the policy. The second one is the big players. Now these are the guys who are already triggering, right? So once the policy is made, they will put money, they will get into action. So where the big money is going? What are the bigger guys like the Ambanis and the Adanis? What are they doing? And what are Meta or Google or Nvidia or Microsoft or IBM or in our field you can talk about the big infrastructure companies. What are they doing? Because those are early sites. So they have influenced the policy and they've already started taking action. So when they do it, the advantage that we small players have, is we have speed which bigger players will not have because they are a large organization. So for example, I want to introduce a leave policy in my office. I can just send a WhatsApp message in the group. Tomorrow it changes, boom, because we are less than 10 number of people. But imagine a company with, let's say, 10,000 employees or 1 lakh employees. The speed of implementation takes time. They have to do certain process, they have to get approvals, they have to implement it, train the people and get it done. So small players, we will have speed. Larger players will not have speed. They will be slow. The momentum will be less. So, but they will start implementing way ahead of us. So if you spot where the big boys are betting their money on, then you can also work on it. And the third thing is we come from a global south, right? Global south is we are not on par with the world economy. Like, of course, we are the third largest GDP in the whole country, but the income disparity is very high. Most of the Indians are still either below poverty line or in the poverty line, right? So we have to look at what technologically advanced states like China, South Korea, Japan, the European, the Scandinavian countries, what are they doing? So if you come across any topic, let us say you come across BIM and you want to do a research. So the first thing is look at the policy level things that are happening. I'll give a case example. So, for example, in the Europe, Scandinavian or Japan or most places, Australia, BIM is a mandatory process for acquiring planning permission. It has a process. So, it's a policy level thing because they think it is more efficient, more transparent and more time saving and cost saving, right? So, they are adapting. And the large companies, right, the large real estate companies, they are doing it. Right? So, policy level is happening. And even in India, there are certain tenders, public sector tenders, they have started asking for BIM as a mandatory thing already. Okay. It is already there in BIM. But it is not to the tune of how easy it was for the Europe or Singapore or Japan, right? So there if they have 70-80% implementation, we are still at 30-35 in terms of BIM. So this is how you have to spot the trend. So if you are an architect, you want to know whether I have to adapt BIM for my firm, or if you are still working or you are a student, should I learn BIM or not? This is how we have to spot the trend, right? And Gulf is one big place which easily adapts and easily adapts to innovation and stuff. So the policy, the big boys, and what the international world is doing. Anything you want to do, just look at these three things and go. And lastly, what Satish told is also awesome. Whatever the trend is there, Satish is talking about something that is hitting ground zero. Okay, which is very, very important because Satish is saying that, okay, something is being displayed in an expo or a convention, which means they are already ready with the product. They are ready with the supply chain part of the problem solving is done. They want to hit the market, penetrate the market. So that is another indicator. Like it is a whistle or siren indicator saying that, okay, an ambulance is coming. So going there and attending once in a month is an awesome thing, Satish. That's a very awesome thing. So if you follow this pattern, it will automatically come, right? So that's why I say the other example that I would like to say is precast. Like I particularly talked about precast, right? Precast is a boring thing, like people are doing. But I recently read a policy where they said the National Highways Authority of India, when they float tenders, they have a mandatory percentage. So earlier, if I'm not wrong, it was 25% of something. So the entire construction, the implementation, 25% should be precast. I'm just explaining in simple words. Now they've made a policy decision to make it 75%. And then I went and saw precast, this thing coming in wherever they're coming. And our friend Adani is opening up precast factories all over the country. Okay. So you know that there is big money there's big money and there's going to be a lot of trend that will be hitting. So many things will be there. So there's a policy, there's one good proof that the people are setting up, and we now should know how to make use of it. If you have this information ahead, like what will you do as an architect? What will you do as an engineer? That's what we should be ideating or discussing about. Thank you, Swati.
That's a very detailed conversation with both of you. I learned a lot basically how to spot the trends, and it's so interesting to see how our conversations are getting better. A lot of the times in real estate, spotting trend is the major aspect that I need to follow basically, and it's very insightful for how understand how you both follow it. And also, I analyze on user behavior. It's basically what gets attention they make during site visits. We take surveys, we take online reports, we study on large data based on economy, based on everything. Real estate data changes. So at Real Story, we do all those, and those patterns help me to understand what is the demand or the trend that's currently happening. It's not just about guessing the trend; it's also about spotting and building what is building the momentum. And also, one last question, like I wanted to ask you, like it feels a little personal question. Like I feel we are in a space there's so much more potential, so much been coming up in the market, but a lot of young architects don't know where to start, or the clients who don't know what to adapt and where to adapt. So how do you make them understand, how do we can help them to equip with the latest trends to make them more better? Satish, you can tell me.
Okay, I can answer on this construction part. Yes, and as you were asking, it is a tedious job for a common people to understand the importance of emerging trends in the construction industry, especially on this materials. So before implementing this GFRP steel, I said right, the polymer steel, what I was using now. Before implementing that into a project, I was taking a consent from my client. This happened real, and this is going on now. I was taking a consent from my client. So the client was asking a lot of questions, like what if something happens to this, what if something happens to that. Even everything is being backed up by data. I was showing the reports, everything to him, and I've mailed him everything. He has studied completely, but still he is having fear because the place where we were constructing the house, the use of GFRP was its point, not 1%, because no contractors, no engineers knew about this product. Even if they knew, they are not ready to implement. Being data being filled up with us, he was so fearful about implementing this product. So what I said to him is like, sir, you need not have to worry. This GFRP steel is being rebar has been used by the central government. I think the transport minister Nitin Katari, if I'm not wrong, he has been implemented this in one of the first project called the Pune to Nashik highway, I guess. Followed by that, he has been implemented to Pune to Bombay highway, then the Trivandrum tunnel, which is in Kerala. Everything has been built by this GFRP only. And he used to frequently travel to Bombay. What he has done is, on a visit regarding to his work, he went for a casual visit and he made an inquiry with the local vendors over there. And they said the same. He was very happy that this technology is being implemented in my project because they spent lakhs and lakhs of crores for this project for building this highway. A small chunk is being utilized to his project. He was so my project is being uniquely coined among all the projects. He got so excited and he has given me approval. So this has given me a big game changer, and I made him realize that this is not only you, even the government is using such kind of materials. So he was happy about that, and this is one case. Second is like this manufacturing sand, what SSR has said before the M sand is being forced to the Indian market. It is been clearly published by the one of the great scientists called Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam before he was president. Still people refuse to take, because our ancestors were building houses through the traditional river sand only, being said by one of the top most scientists in the India. Then there came the situation, the river sand has been banned. uh, People were not ready to adapt this M sand, because even our fellow engineers and even me, we were very fearful about taking this M sand in the initial stages. The same process I have done by I've taken all the reports, data, by doing all the compressive test in the laboratory by using this MSAN cube test. Everything is being done. What I've done is slowly started putting that to my small concrete structures for the projection of what lintel beams, projection of lofts. These are all small RCC components in a building. Okay, so I started implementing that. I used to see what it happens for 2 years, what it happens post auditing. Basically what they call is called post auditing of building. I used to do this for 2 years once, 3 years once, by going to the my previous client's place, and we used to audit what it happens. Is there any major crack, or it is a small crack? Everything we used to audit it. Then I came to a conclusion, okay, fine, the reports is there, the execution is there, the post report is also supporting us. Now we can good to go for this usage of this MSAN. Even today, even if the MSAN reaches our site, we used to do the silt test for each and every vehicle it comes. It is mandatory, and it is hardly a 5 to 10 minutes process, which can be done by any engineers or a layman, which has to be done, because the silt content should be somewhere around less than 8%. Only then, even if you use the A grade material cement been mixed with this M sand, it will give you the proper output. If not, it won't. So that way, these data, everything has to be educated to your clients in the most understandable way, because they are not the professionals, right? They are their professionals in their own domain, but not in us. Them, like if there is a report with there are 10 numbers in it, we used to say, sir, you have to see only this point number 3. This particular number is sufficient for you. If you find even that is difficult to understand for you, what you do, we have sent a mail copy for you. You download that PDF, throw it in GPT. It will say you what parameters to be seen according to your knowledge. That is more than sufficient for them to give green signal to implement the new trending materials in their project. This is what we follow now.
That's nice. It's actually a we understand the practical points that you have faced, and that's really insightful. Yes, sir,
Somebody
what's
has
your
commented asking what material it is, Samesh.
G
Pardon?
GFRP, right?
Yes,
What
GFR?
glass
material?
fiber reinforced polymer. GFRP. To be even precise, the vendors say 30% of the cost would drop if you use this, but actually it is not.
Okay. I'll add on to what, sorry, go ahead.
The practical challenge is the company says that 30% of the cost would drop, but actually it drops somewhere around 20 to 25% only. The reason behind that is it has a few demerits in it. Like if you cut the GFRP, you cannot lap it, you cannot bend it. There are some pros and cons in it. So that is one point. Point number 2 is this can be used instead of a steel in terms of diameter. Say for example, if a steel being used for 10 diameter for a particular application, for the same application you can use the GFRP of 8 that is sufficient. It is not mandatory to go for the 10 because the durability what you get in 10 of a steel is 3x 4x the durability in GFRP 8 so you can use that. That way the cost drops somewhere around 20 to 25% in practicing in my projects even now.
To add to your thing, Swati, if you notice Satish, the way he's saying, he took about one large topic, material. Like you said that you are feeling overwhelmed, and most young people like A is happening, BIM is happening, that is happening, this is happening, 3D printing is happening. What should I do? Right. So if you look at it, here's the answer. He is some practicing. He's practicing construction for the last 8-9 years, and he talked about a trend. He talked about sustainability, and he talked about material. He narrowed down, and in one material, he's talking about GFRP, and he's giving so many experiences, the conversation, story, the research, the mails, and everything. So that's it. So the idea is, what I would like to say is, go back to the moon example. We are small players, right? So we need not worry about giving light to Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. If we are moon for Earth, we will just borrow the light from the sun, give it for Earth alone. And we can do it only for 14 days in a month, right? Balance 14 days, we will not get light, we'll go and sleep. That's it. So our bandwidth is less. So my first advice or my suggestion is be aware of what is happening around the world, but don't get into that FOMO of trying out or not moving and doing it for the sake of sake. And I at the start of this podcast I told, right, the market is divided into innovators, early adopters, late adopters, and laggards. Four. There are five, but I forgot one. So let us say only four are there. Now you have to identify where you fit in, your basic nature, your basic character, your business, where it falls under. Like if you are in a business that is constantly innovating, then you should innovate or be an early adopter. But if you're in a business which is stable one, which is using tried and tested one, then be a late adopter, or you can even be a laggard. Like in case of using GPay, I'm fine with that. Okay, nothing. The world is not going to end. But how to make use of it? So it should start from inside, right? It should start from inside. So we need to know what our strengths are, our weaknesses are, what is our education, what is our skill, where we want to go, and everything. Once you figure that out, pick one large thing and just focus on, put your effort there. For in my case, I am not going to spend time on precast. I know precast is going to be a big thing. I am an architect. I have a large community, but somewhere down the line, I felt precast is not my thing. So I'm not even going to go there. Maybe in future when somebody does innovation, somebody is there, I might be a late adopter or even a laggard when it comes to precast. But I know that something is going to come. But my focus areas are on running a business, right? Running the business of architecture. How can we help the community of architects, designers, engineers, and technology, adapting technology to make firms run faster, leaner, more efficient, make more money. I find BIM and AI, they are my go-to areas. Like this can be different for anybody. See, for example, someone like Sadai Ishwaran of Alpha Club, he's more focused on natural building material. Like even for the next 25 years, if Sadai doesn't use AI or BIM, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. So let us not have that FOMO. But once you identify that this is my broad zone or my focus area, now then you have to do. Like for example, if I was interested in precast, I will go subscribe to all the email newsletters, magazines, journals of precast. I'll attend all the industry events, online, offline. Okay. And I will try and see the process from day zero till day one, right? What is happening? Like, what is precast technology? How is it manufactured? How is it designed? What are the structural things needed? What are the design innovations needed? Okay, where is the manufacturing happening? How is the transport happening? How they get assembled at site? I will understand this. So I am an architect. So I design, right? So if I'm an architect, then I will be like, okay, how do I participate in this process? How does it get assembled? Can I innovate only one wall panel? Like, can I innovate? Because there will be a lot of R&D needs to be done, and you can pick one small problem where you can participate. You just keep searching for it, and then you do it. For example, if you do a normal construction, we used to give brickwork drawings. I call it brickwork drawing. It is not a floor plan or a furniture layout. I call it brickwork drawing because that particular drawing we give to the site for the mason to do brickwork. So only those dimensions will be there, like needed for the brick. Now, if I have to give the same drawing for a precast construction, then the dimensions, the specifications I give will have to change depending on the process of assembly, right? Depending on the process of assembly. And even when I'm designing, it is going to be modular, right? It is going to be modular. If I'm talking about a precast wall panel, it should be like 3 feet, 4 feet or something. I'm not sure, but I'm just saying it. This is the logic. So how do we evolve our design process? How do we make it more efficient? How do we avoid, this thing? So this is how you need to dive deep. And you need to do R&D. You need to be part of any community, and you need to meet experts who are already doing a lot of things there. There will be scholars, there will be PhD reports on them. Read them, go meet them, attend events. For example, you can even attend these every day, 1 to 2. You are going to learn a lot. So focus on learning a lot, meeting people, be part of that community, and then take it to action. First, get the competency, get all the learning, identify where you can participate, depending on whether you're an architect, interior designer, or this thing, engineer, and then you play according to your strength and see what you can offer. Now, if you do this process, then you will identify one area where you think you are good at, where you can make more money, and when the trend comes, you will be there to reap the benefit. The same thing if I have to talk about BIM or AI. If I need BIM, So I see BIM and AI as a way to improve my design process for my firm space much. See, for example, my design process is get the project, go to the site, get the requirement. We do our own zoning, sun path analysis, shadow analysis, user analysis, and then we do the layouts, present to the client, iterate it. Then we go on with the design development. We do the 3D views. We show all around all the spaces, interior, exterior, everything, depending on their budget, and then we do it. Now, this process that I told 2 stages, it usually takes me 2 months. I present after 10 days, 15 days. The iterations take their own time. The 3D views, they take their own time, iterations. By finalizing it, it will take 2 months time. Now, this entire process can be actually done in 10 days time with applying BIM and AI. So, what we do is now we do the same process. Go to the site, talk to the client, understand the site, come up with the design. And now for doing the layout, we still use manual sketches and CAD. Okay. But developing the model on stage one itself, we develop a model. And in fact, I personally have identified a AI BIM tool where you need not even do the BIM model manually. So there's an AI tool that will actually do the BIM model automatically if you set the parameters right. So it is actually saving more time than what BIM does. And we are going to teach that in our batch 6 of BIM Foundation program, which we are starting at May 27. So that process itself takes only half a day time. So I get the model and then I take the model out. I get the quantities, I get all the sections elevations on day one itself. And then that helps me when I have the quantity, I can arrive at a preliminary estimate on the first presentation itself. And I take the model out and from that model, there are AI tools. I recently shared an AI tool in all of the groups. They have WhatsApp groups and in Instagram. Newark.ai. So that is like if you have a sketch or if you have a line drawing taken from my BIM model or from the SketchUp, if you know to do the prompting, you will get photorealistic renders at 30 seconds. Now, ChatGPT can do that. I also know everybody knows this tool is different, or why I am excited about it is imagine in Photoshop when you're rendering something, you can clone something and you can edit that portion alone, right? You can just clone or select one part and edit. The rest of the things it stays. The same process is easily doable in this AI tool that I'm talking about. So if let's say I'm doing an interior view and I have a sofa, okay, I shared it in the WhatsApp group for everybody to see. If let's say the sofa has wooden legs, the first version. If I want to change only the legs from wooden to stainless steel, all I have to do is select on the image the wooden thing. I have to go and prompt saying, I've selected the sofa, which is a wooden leg. Swati, are you here? I've selected the wooden sofa. I want to change it to stainless steel. I can even give a reference image of the material. Now, once I do that, the next 30 seconds, I get the revised image without changing anything else. Now, this process that I'm talking about, 2-month process getting done in 10 days, is a big deal for me. Okay, so I am someone, once I know something, I will tell to the world. And I will tell to you guys first in Alpha Club because you are my priority people. And then once that works, then I'll tell to the rest of the DHEP community and rest of the world. So if we are able to do that, imagine the amount of time we are saving, amount of money we are saving in terms of software, people and everything. And will larger firms be able to adapt to this process? No. As I said, larger firms, won't have momentum, right? So smaller players will be able to adapt to it easily and we can actually serve the larger firms. So if you're a freelancer, if you know this process, there will be firms who will be willing to pay you to get it done for them. This is what I will do if I'm a freelancer because the job market is going to the dogs. There's no demand. I myself have reduced my team size 1/5. Okay. I'm trying to find agentic AI workflows for all my work. I'm creating my own agentic AI tools, which you guys have used as well. So things are going to get leaner and leaner. So if you are smart, pick one area, become the best of it, live by it, speak about it, think about it, ideate, attend sessions, be participative in community activities, make use of the resources, create content in LinkedIn, talk to people, and keep doing something or the other in this thing. Because if you are not getting updated, you will be outdated. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Satish.
Thank you, sir. That I understand about the focus in the things that we do and focus in practicing the niche practice that young architects should follow. And I also, the sir would know me better, my story, like how hard that I understood it and started my consultancy. Also, there's so many young architects and design professionals. I hope they got an understanding of also, coming to the real story, something I've been really focusing on is the data's how data can help developers and buyers to make better decisions. making them visibly understand. Developers are taking database derived decision. Their previous experiences or the previous projects they don't take the basic feasibility of the exact project, and most of them lack the current they don't pick up the current trend or the demand that actually needs. So currently the real story is focusing on that, and also for the buyers, I'm currently focusing on making them transparent, making the data more transparent to make them also to take the informed decision. So for me the next step is in branding is creating a smarter data driven tools to connect both my clients, the developers, and their buyers to adopt it for the better use. And so yeah, that's the wrap for today's episode. I'm so honored to host you both.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Satish, for the time. I think it's
Yes,
already
yes,
done.
yes.
And
It's much glad to share.
wonderful hosting, Swati. Wonderful hosting. And tomorrow's session will be on construction, something related to construction and execution. Satish, do you have any ideas of the topic? Any topic that you would like to?
Let you know
Or
on
you'll be the
that.
one leading it, right?
Yeah.
This topic would be around construction and interior execution.
Pardon? You can go for the process also. Process in construction. The process in construction. It works well, I guess.
So that's a very large thing. Like we cannot speak on it. Let us be very focused for tomorrow. Take one aspect of construction.
I'll let you know while doing a research.
So what we are trying to do it from Alpha Club is we are coming up with this hierarchy series. Okay, I'm just giving an intro after we finish. So every day we want to talk about something. We are 27 of us at Alpha Club, right? And we want to keep ideating. We want to share value, and this is also a marketing effort, right? So what we plan to do is every day we have teams, like 4 or 5 architects, designers, and engineers, and they talk about a particular topic that they are interested in. Okay, and we've chosen 1 to 2 is because that's lunchtime globally, at least for all firms in India, right? So if you're in your office, if you're in your college, if you're wherever you are, ensure that 1 to 2 every day. You can drop in live if you're watching it in LinkedIn or Instagram, and you will have a bunch of architects, entrepreneurs, designers, and engineers from all over the country talking something useful, no nonsense. Okay, and you can gain a lot out of it. So please help us spread the word, and do share, whatever this thing. And tomorrow we'll be talking about construction and execution, right? So that's our idea, and Satish will be leading it, and Satish and few more architects from our Alpha Club will be doing it. And if you want to join Alpha Club, yeah, you know what to do. There are links, and you can check out what it is, and you can join. And the other initiative is BIM. BIM, we are launching our 6th BIM Foundation program. We'll be teaching the AI BIM tools as well this time, which we didn't do in the past 5 things. And no other provider is going to teach you this AI BIM in Infit, and it's very affordable. If you want, you can do it, and we hardly take 10 people a batch, so make use of it. The last one is HeyArchi. HeyArchi is a portal which will be launched anytime soon. Anytime soon, we are in the last phase of testing and fine tuning. We should be launching it anytime soon. Okay. Thank you guys, and hope to see you tomorrow during lunchtime.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you.